are ready to kick on.
No, it's so we're in a similar position. I don't know where we are in the league XG wise, but we are massively under. Yeah, we're massively. Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
so we're massively. Well, no, we're not
overachieving. You're overachieving.
But we're not, because so like the Luton game that we lost 3-0. If you look at the race chart, our XG was like 3 something. Luton's was 1. So it just meant that we were doing everything except for actually scoring, whereas Luton were more clinical and in the finishing. And I would suggest it's probably the same for Port Vale, that they are making, look at me, the tactic, they're making the right moves. They're just not finishing.
Well,
that's what that would say to me.
Well, there's a couple of things on this Port Vale. So obviously it was Port Vale 0, Wycombe Wanderers 0. It's like kind of for your benefit, Fyfie, stats versus reality. So both managers, obviously you expect a manager to kind of big his team up a little bit, but there's two like real contrasts in interviews here. So Michael Duff for Wycombe, his quote was, after 20 minutes from then on, I thought it was total dominance. I don't know how we haven't won the game, to be honest. It's frustrating, but you win that 98 times out of 100. First of all, don't know where he's pulled that from. 98 out of 100 is a really random one.
And then Darren the official lower league look stat man, the thing that really frustrates me is when people make up the stats. Like, stats are supposed to be there intentionally. Like, you're supposed to be able to, factually back up a stat. And for him to say 98 out of 100, he now needs to play that 100 times to prove that the stat he's just made up is in fact correct.
2/3 of stats are made up.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln
Can you
said
prove that with some statistical analysis, please?
Yes.
No, I'm the tactics woman. That's your thing.
Yeah, your job's to pull the stats.
Yeah, but I'm not playing here. That's the problem.
Darren Moore, his interview, his quotes are, credit to the players for the resilience and determination. We brought the big man, Ben Hennigan, back in there, and I thought he was a colossus today. He headed everything. He blocked everything. So,
okay, so
98 out of 100. He was a colossus.
As the stat man, what I can confirm is utter dominance. I don't think is the case, because according to Sky, who we know are ever reliable, possession in this particular 0-0 encounter, by the way, possession was 34-66 in the in Wycombe's favour, so they have more possession, but 2/3 isn't utter dominance. It's dominant, but it's not utter dominance. Total shots 15-18. So despite having twice as much of the ball, they've almost had just as many attempts as their hosts. On target 2-3. So the XG question comes back out there as well. But I'm also looking here. Aerial duels 1, Port Vale 136, Wycombe 132. So no one's dominated anyone in the air. Blocked shots 5 and 7. So far, not one stat that's been quoted has been factually backed up by the numbers.
It's insane. And I find, look, XG is always one that confuses me. But when you see someone's XG being that high, you do not expect them to be sat 23rd in the table.
I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of XG personally. I get why people use it, but I'm not a fan. Do you know the only one that annoys me more than XG? The pre-assist. Shut up.
Yeah, so that's the ball before the assist.
That's the pass to set up the pass that sets up the goal, yeah.
Do you know what I discovered last week? So before we went live, we were talking about Ollie Norwood being out for County. I discovered the Poisson distribution model, which is a statistical model which takes, like, it's a kind of if or type model. So if
Sounds
Ollie
tasty.
Norwood had been playing in the Luton game, how would the outcome have changed? Like, how cool is that? That's why.
So is the Poisson model based on the gene?
Poisson, like fish, not like crescent shape.
Oh, I thought you said croissant.
I thought you said croissant.
No, Poisson.
Oh, it's the Poisson theory, basically taken from the older Gino de Campo theory that if his nan had wheels, she'd be a bike.
Yes, it's utter nonsense.
I'm just going to say yes. I don't know what it's based on. I think it's a model that someone has come up with. And the outcome was it would have been a bit closer, but Luton probably still would have won, which made me feel better about things.
So just while we're testing stuff and you know, like changing our little banners and things, Liam, I just want to welcome my own audience to this broadcast because I've tested the little button. Because I'm a guest in this and not the host, I'm only allowed to use 2. So the millions of viewers that Fools get on Facebook and YouTube are currently invited to watch this as well. I decided that our followers are also your followers on X, and therefore
on X, doing
the same.
I mean, a lot of them have us muted on X, but that's not the point. Well, if there was ever anything, by the way, I know, Hannah, you just said that a lot of stats are made up, 2/3 of stats are made up. But if there was ever anything to back
I did
that
make
up,
that stat up, though.
Yeah. And if there was anything to actually prove that to be true, it's the first comments that have come in. Ben, who everybody knows, Fyfie, you know him from Fools, Mr. Pyman, he said, hi, guys, agree. 80% of the time, 87% of the time, I'm spot on. Which, if anything, shows that is utter nonsense. It is that. Not sure where he's got 80%.
On 606, by the way.
He's missing a decimal point between those two numbers. That's the problem. But yeah, well, look, let's start with League One because there's not really much to get on with League One, and if we start at the top, well, yeah, if we start at the top, Hannah, you're currently top of the league, Stockport County. We were second going into it. We're now third, and you're now joint top along with Lincoln. Lincoln beat Doncaster 2-1. Lincoln took an early lead, the first half lead. Doncaster got one back in the 70th minute and then scored an own goal less than 2 minutes later. Anybody who hasn't seen it, it is a complete shit show of a goal. Not really sure what has gone on, but it moves Lincoln up to second. And Donny are in 19th, and that is no wins in 9, I think.
It's funny, isn't it? Because they, in common with pretty much all the promoted teams, had a stellar start, and you can't really tell until now. Like they had a start like Mansfield did, and then they need to watch it because Mansfield nearly found themselves back in League Two last season after they dropped off a little bit later. So I think they beat us on New Year's Day or something ridiculous and then didn't win for weeks and weeks and weeks. Donny are a bit, I think it's maybe just the run of games that they've had as well, because there are some incredibly tight tacticians in
job title.
But thanks. But there's also been quite a lot of managerial changes, and so we're in a situation now, like we've got Peterborough on Thursday, who are 2 games in maybe, with Luke Williams. So things change. Luton have had a bit, they're up to 8th, I think, under Jack Wilshere. Things are changing, whereas Donny, nothing has changed. No. And I think I am absolutely there was nothing implied there. There was at no point have I implied or otherwise that Grant McCann will not be the manager of Doncaster at the end of the season. I'd like to clarify that very, very clearly. I will not make that mistake again.
Job for life.
It's a rhetorical job for life. He is the man. Yeah.
There are some that are turning though, Hannah. There are some, and I've seen some comments from fans. Someone said he's a League Two manager, nothing more.
I don't know. If you look at their passing network from Saturday against Lincoln, Lincoln are a much wider, broader setup. They've got Thomas Hamer from the back playing everything forward, and then into who's that? Tendai Darikwa.
I know him well.
Then is feeding it into the forwards. By contrast, Donny have got Conor O'Riordan sitting at the back, who is doing loads and loads of work. Nearly every, like, passes are going through him left, right, and centre, literally. But he's not creating any chances, and they've not got that kind of energy and pressure going forward. All of their activity is right back. And then they've got Billy Sharp up front, just waiting, apparently, for the balls to come to him, and the balls are not coming to him.
Question, if I may, for you guys who are much more knowledgeable on this kind of thing than me. But I think back, 9 months now. I think back, say, 9 months, and I look at some of the recognisable names in this Doncaster team. I see Sterry, I see Molyneux, I see Bailey, Sharp to a point.
Lotatula.
Indeed. Yeah. Is the gap between League Two and League One bigger than some people maybe think it is? Because you look at, if you take someone like a Molyneux, who for years was widely considered one of, if not the best players in League Two, and I appreciate it's a team game and not one player can do it on his own, but he's now playing for he's playing for the same team in the same setup, and they are struggling, for want of a better phrase.
So it was interesting, actually. We saw this last year with Burton, who didn't get relegated, but were very, very close to it. And if you remember, they built this like first 11 of League Two All-Stars. So there was Elliot Watts, there was Ben Whitfield, there was yes, who is still there and still doing well. Whereas most
there was Danilo Orsi.
Yeah. A lot of them have moved on. But
I've just seen that Sade still plays up front for them as well.
And they failed abysmally. That, absolutely fell on their arse. And it wasn't until Gary Bowyer came in that things started to change. But is the gap? I think the gap is more. No, I don't think there is. And that's evidenced by your Wimbledons, your
Bradfords.
Bradford. But I don't know. I don't think there is that much of a gap. I think it's just different. Like Charlie will say about, particular teams, the way they set up, and it almost becomes psychological in letting them play how they want to play. And I think that's very distinct in League One. You can see the different playing styles. But no, Donny have obviously proved maybe it was a bit of a post-promotion confidence blip. But, likewise, Mansfield are still kicking around. I don't think they're, significantly stronger than Donny or anyone else.
Do you know, for me, and I think, and this isn't, it's going to come across as arrogant, and it's not meant to be, but it's the difference between sort of our summer and their summer is that they took a League Two team and just added a couple of things to it. We brought in League One players and above, and we one thing Graham Alexander said is that there's no room for sentimentality. And you look, Tyreek Wright isn't playing for us at the minute. Brad Halliday, for the 3 seasons he's been with us, has been in the League Two team of the season. He isn't starting for us. Andy Cook is not starting for us. He's been fully fit for a while now. He's not starting. We've brought in Stephen Humphreys, who's proven at a League One level. Anthony Sarcevic is a League One footballer. He's been a League One footballer for a long time. Bobby Poynton is a League One footballer. He was a risk to we didn't know for definite, but we all felt he was, and we've seen it. Josh Nerfbill from Wimbledon, team of the season last year, by far their best player last year. Teams across League One wanted him. We've got League One players. Curtis Till is a League One. He's better suited to League One than he is League Two.
Definitely.
He's class.
I love watching it. I mean, I know he's not playing at the moment, but have really enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, and then you look at, we signed Metcalf from Everton. We signed a lad on loan from Potts. We've signed proven players at this level, And what we've done is we've said, yes, you guys might have got us here, but you've got to fight for your place. Your place in League One ain't a given. Whereas Donny have got kind of that mentality where he's happy to ride it till January. And this is because he knows, look, Grant McCann has successful Januaries. He has at Donny every time he's been there, and every January he's been there. He's always had a good January. The fans are willing to give him January and a couple of months after. The question is, the Sat 19th, is it going to be enough time? There's no time for, I think Grant McCann kind of agrees there's no time for sentimentality, but he's waiting until January. He's given them this first half of the season, and that's a big thing. He said in the summer, we're not here to make up the numbers.
No.
Right now, that's all they're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, the lads on the WhatsApp group were talking about this, weren't they? And saying, he shouldn't have made it sound like they were going for promotion. You can't start a season and be like, we'll be really happy just to stay up. Can you imagine? The fans would be like, well, why are we bothering? The players.
I did. I did that last season, Hannah.
I was the same last season. Like, I just wanted to finish in mid-table obscurity. The club's original semi-verbalized publicly take was that they wanted to finish in the top 10. But, it's a competitive sport. You don't, obviously you're not going to admit to settling, are you?
You can't stand still in football. You can't accept and just sit still in football. The issue
actually in League Two, Harrogate is a really good example of that. Like, that's been coming for years, that kind of steady decline. They've always been there or thereabouts. Newport similarly. And
speaking of Newport,
what?
Someone's put Steve Bracknell.
I've been being sent images in a WhatsApp chat that isn't false for a change, of people pissing about on Wikipedia, and then they're coming up with all sorts of weird and wonderful names as the new manager. Steve Bracknell's been put on Wikipedia as the manager. A Welsh singer named Benji Webb has been put as manager. People are having fun at Newport's expense.
Which is, it's nice to be Newport and not yourselves for once, Fyfie, isn't it? But I'm sure your time will come. So just to kind of finish on the Donny and Lincoln game, Grant McCann, fair play to him. He called it a comedy show. The defending, he said it's disappointing to lose again. No one wants to hear hard luck stories. He's not making up excuses. He's never really made excuses up, and it's something that I think you can kind of commend him for. But you can't keep going through this routine of expecting January to be your season. I mean, it's like you with Charlie, Hannah. I've always said, like, you have that first 10 games where you don't really hit the ground running. And it's every year. And eventually you've got to look at the manager and say, what are you doing to change that? Why does that keep happening? And it's the same with Donny. Obviously last season they were up there, they kicked on, but the season before he came in and it wasn't, they were in a bit of a shit show, and for a lot of the season they were in a shit show, which really weren't his fault. It was just that last sort of 13 games where he kicked it on.
One of the really interesting things about Donny Lincoln as well on Saturday is that after Lincoln's second goal, Donny's I wonder if the XG takes into account. So what happens on the race chart is kind of first 30 minutes, kind of even as Lincoln are scoring, Donny their XG is still higher. They're making more opportunities. And then at 65 minutes, so just before Donny equalised, Lincoln's XG shoots up, and then it just kind of stops, whereas Donny keeps building, like even after their own goal. So they've finishes really high for the game compared to Lincoln. So they've obviously still got that. Lots of teams, Stockport County included, their heads will go down, but Donny is scrappy and they kept the pressure on right to the end. And as a fan, I think that's all that you can kind of ask and that you want to see. The frustration comes when their heads go down and they just give up.
Well, the question for you both on that is McCann's interview, calling it a clown show. Do you see that? Is that just raw honesty from McCann, or do you see it as him potentially losing the plot a little bit with the situation and starting to throw his players under the bus?
I'll go with the first. I think there are certain people out there, and there's not many, admittedly, but I do think McCann's potentially one of them for the limited exposure I've had, where he will call out what he thinks. He won't go for the EFL media trained approved answer on every single question. If it has been poor, I think he'll say it's poor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's also I've like in the past found, and this is where this whole debacle from 2 years ago stemmed from, that he was in, I think it was like August, September, he was saying to the fans, you need to give us some time. Obviously he was new into the role then, or the post, whatever you'd say in football, but he was very transparent about the fitness levels of the players, about the team needing to gel. And we talked about clubs that recruit heavily in the summer versus those that don't. There is a massive advantage to be had from retaining a team, giving them a full pre-season, working together. You don't get last minute signings coming in who haven't had a pre-season and then still in November aren't up to playing a full game. So yeah, I think he's just I think he's too smart to throw players under the bus. I think he knows the psychology of being a manager and needing to keep players on side. He's got some really senior players in that team as well, so people like Billy Sharp aren't going to stand for that too much. I think he's just honest. And I kind of like that about him.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I have a complaint. A statistical complaint that Hannah can explain tactically.
All right. I probably can't, but I'll try.
No, you can, because I think you kind of touched on it earlier. But I was looking ahead of doing this record, which is now a stream, and I recognised that the sample size is smaller. League One only had 5 games at the weekend because of the wealth of international experience amongst all the clubs.
Yeah.
However, one thing I did notice, and I'm purely doing this as the outsider, building up my own job more than anything.
Yeah.
Out of the 5 games, 3 of them had 1 goal or less.
Yeah.
Now, to put it in perspective, we had a full card in our division, one lower, and only 4 games had 1 goal or less. Now, as much as I want to be in League One, it does come across as boring.
Do you know the things, Fyfie? I don't think it is boring. It's so tight, and the way to look at it is from Stockport in 1st to Plymouth in 24th, there are 15 points.
Well, yeah. Who was it last week? Won and went from like 21st to 12th.
I don't
know. It was the Thursday game. Is it Stevenage?
No,
Last
Stevenage
Thursday.
Didn't win. Stevenage. Oh, Reading.
Reading. That
beat
was it.
Stevenage.
Went from 21st
Reading beat Stevenage to 2 Thursdays ago.
Yeah. So
I watched some of that.
Yeah, I think so. The goal difference, the league average sits at 15. Hang on, 15 games. So goal difference goes from 0.57 down to 0.67. That's the scale. So as Liam said, it's just really tight. So
I mean, I fully appreciate like the league table because it's not too dissimilar. The league table, like by the time the weekend comes, if you were all kicking off at the same time, which I know you're not, because obviously like you're playing Thursday and stuff, but anyone currently from 1st to 7th can be top by the end of the weekend. Like I like that. That's fun and that's exciting as a neutral.
Yeah. It's boring if Stockport win on Thursday, though.
Yeah, like nothing happens for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
New manager bounce. We know Luke Williams knows us. We know Luke Williams.
But Peterborough don't. It's not a lot of time to get that Peterborough team in order to play you, though.
No, but they won, didn't they, at the weekend?
What I will say, and you guys might know different, is
didn't play,
I
did they?
haven't come across anyone.
Go on, Fyfie,
No, sorry. No, they didn't. Their game with Mansfield got postponed.
They beat Crawley.
Luke Williams is one of those.
Oh, they beat Wimbledon.
Yes,
yeah, we beat Wimbledon. Don't worry about it.
Luke Williams is one of those where no one has a bad word to say about him. Like everyone raves about him.
Absolutely, I think he's great. He's a proper. He's like, I know we big up Pete Wild here, but he is essentially, he did what Pete Wild said he would do if he lost his job. He just went and got a proper job because he's not lived his life through football. He's a grafter. He just wants to be out and about working. If it's in football, great. If it's not, he'll go work at an airport, handling baggage. That's someone who's so grounded and down to earth. And to be fair, they're probably the most dangerous people to come up against in football because they don't, not that they don't care, but football managers and players as well, they've got nothing else. So decisions are made with the thought of, I can't do this. If I do this and I lose I won't have any income, I won't have this. A manager that's not got that fear, who knows that if he does lose his job, he's got other options. I think that's really, really dangerous. And that's why I hated playing the likes of Pete Wild. Like, Pete Wild was one of the only managers that would ever, well, every single time he came to Bradford, he went for it. He didn't care how many fans were there. He didn't care about the occasion. He never played the occasion. He came and he went for it because he knew that he had nothing to lose. We had everything to lose.
And that's the difference between your managers that kind of bounce around and then your managers like Pete Wild, like Luke Williams, like David Artell, who go off and recognize that they need to take a break from whatever they've come from. In some, I mean, with Artell's situation, he was at Crewe. They'd got relegated. It was a very intense period. He had given a lot of himself to the club, and they go away and they work out how to be better next time. And I think that takes so much more character and drive and ambition. And then also, I mean, both Pete Wild and David Artell, I assume the same is true for Luke Williams. They're very choosy about their next role as well. They know that, you know, if they've been sacked, they want to do better next time. And so they're not just taking anything that's offered to them. They're going for something that they think that they can be successful at and being smart with it. And again, just got the utmost of respect for that approach.
We had managers like that on Fools on Friday, and he was saying how Luke had such an impact. I asked him a question basically, and it was quite an interesting answer he gave. I wasn't expecting it, about people coming from non-league into the EFL, and obviously that was some time ago. But he mentioned how he had a meeting with Cooper. I think he said like a month into it, and he said, "You know what? I don't think this is for me. I want to go back to non-league. I don't want to do this professional game." But Luke said, "Look, give me." I think he said something like, "Give me 3 months or give me 6 months and you'll see the difference." And he said, I stuck with him, and he said the impact he had on his career as a player. He said it's unbelievable. Like what he ended up doing as a player, he put down almost, not solely obviously, but he put down to that conversation and say, "Look, give me 3 to 6 months and you'll see the difference."
Yeah, and I think it's managers like that and relationships like that. I'm sure if you talk to someone like Macaulay Langstaff, he would attribute so much of his success to Luke Williams' involvement. And, you know, I mean, it's the same at every level. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking about Marcus Rashford and how he doesn't know why he's only been successful under him, and then wherever he is at the moment, I've got no idea. I don't follow the
Barcelona now.
Barcelona.
But you know, in the meantime, he's been at Villa, hasn't he? And hasn't clicked. And I think it's part of that, the whole culture of a football team, which I love. Kind of all of that side, like the off-pitch stuff and how that influences the managerial kind of style and all of that. It's yeah.
Well, guys, it's only 5 games in League One, and we're 35 minutes in. So a quick roundup of the rest of them here. Just to
nil,
1-0.
Well, no, it wasn't. So we had Burton Albion 1, Blackpool 0, which is huge for Burton Albion and huge for Blackpool as well. That is huge. And you know what?
Especially since Blackpool have been on a bit of a new manager bounce.
Yeah, well, this is why you've probably not. I don't think you've watched the Fear Thursday. The biggest one for me though is Leyton Orient 2, Exeter 1, because Orient needed that. Like Orient massively needed a win.
They did, but at the same time, it's funny, isn't it? Because like if you like, I think about this season as an extension of last season. That's not surprising at all. But this is what Orient did last season. It was November before they kicked on, and I remember having Marshall on, and they were doing horrifically. And it feels like, but they, particularly last year, had a big influx of loan players. They had Charlie Kelman, can't remember who else, but they are reliant on those relationships that they have with, I think it's Spurs, isn't it?
I remember we had this conversation at the start of the season as well.
Yeah, they but what they do tend to have is they tend to have agreements where they can't get recalled. So it's kind of one and done. They're slow to start, but then they crack on. That said, they are now 6 months in, probably, to the new ownership structure. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in January for them. Yeah. But like in context of, you know, the last 12 months, that's not a scoreline that stands out. But Liam's right in that for Orient's form at the moment,
it's hit and miss, isn't it?
That said, Exeter are 20th. They're not, you know, stunning.
Yeah, but the way that but Orient were down there, and Orient's form is hit and miss, and getting smashed 4-1 last week by Wickham. That could have gone either. That's a big slippery slope for Orient there, and you know people talk about Richie Wellens potentially going to other clubs, this, that, and the other, and it, you know, maybe does unsettle a little bit because there were talks about that earlier this season. Maybe it does cause a little bit of a problem, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. The other game, Luton 0, Rotherham 0, an absolute bore fest.
That really annoys me after the ridiculous scoreline of the week before. But you know, maybe that was Jack Wilshere's bounce done.
Yeah, but the same, like you look at Leyton Orient, they got smashed by Wickham the week before that. They beat Lincoln.
Yeah,
like it's insane.
I haven't done the percentages on this, but I have had a quick look, and it does look very similar to League Two. How do you two feel that it doesn't feel like there's a massive amount of draws? Teams have kind of high win records or high lose records. No one, like the amount of teams we talk about on 606, for example, that we say if they could just turn some of these defeats into draws, they would be so much higher up the table. And I've just had a quick look down the League One table, and there's no one really racking up the draws either. They either have good win percentages or high loss percentages.
Yeah, and it's funny because at the moment, you know, County are top of the league and have been for the last couple of weeks, but it's not, you know, there's been some big losses in there, or two big losses, I think, and but it hasn't mattered because no one is winning everything, and I don't know if it's the same.
We've drawn 4 of our last 5.
Yeah, I remember you saying
we've drawn 4 out of our last 5.
That's an exception to every rule.
But again, this shows how mad League One is this season. We've drawn 4 out of our last 5, and going into Saturday, bear in mind we didn't play on Saturday. We were second still. Like,
bear in mind, you've drawn 4 of the last 5. You've drawn 6 all season.
Oh yeah, but this is our start to the season was phenomenal. Like it was beyond anything we could possibly imagine. You know, beating Luton, beating Stockport, beating Wickham, Huddersfield, Wimbledon, all these teams that really, I mean, aside from Wimbledon that you we were in League Two last season. We took their
Well,
best
Wimbledon
player.
are having a cracking start to the
Yeah,
season.
they
What are they? 7th?
Yeah.
3 points off top.
Just to put something that resembles stats behind this. Okay, so this is your top 8 at the minute. So this goes from Stockport to Luton. Okay, Stockport's record 8-4-3 in terms of wins, draws, losses. Lincoln 8-4-4. Bradford 7-6-2. Bolton 7-5-3. Cardiff in 5th 8-2-4. Stevenage 8-2-3. Wimbledon 8-1-6. And then Luton 7-2-6. There's not a lot of draws in there. If you take Bradford and Bolton out, there's not a lot of draws in that top 8 at all.
There isn't, but the thing is like that, and that kind of shows why we are where we are. We've got 6 draws, but only 2 losses.
Yeah,
like we've been half.
So you are doing turning those losses into draws. That's what you're doing.
Yes, yeah, essentially, yeah, we are, and that's why we are up where we are. But six draws is not great. And do you know that the most annoying part about it is that, we drew against Lincoln in possibly the most boring game I've ever seen in my life. We drew against Stevenage, but it's both Stevenage and Lincoln are up there. Barnsley should be up there. We drew against Barnsley 2-2, and then we drew against Rotherham, another team that should be up there. So, like, the points that we are dropping, aside from the Burton game, which was horrific, however, it was the perfect Gary Bowyer performance. That is everything that Gary Bowyer does. He used to manage us. We know what Gary Bowyer does, and he executed it perfectly. Now, what I will say is one thing that really pisses me off is time wasting. Now, 90th minute, I can understand getting the ball running to a corner and time wasting. It annoys me, but I can get it. Doing it in 25th minute is just nonsensical for me, and time wasting from the 25th minute until the 90th minute is just ridiculous. And that's what they did. And it is, look, here's the thing. We had 8 players still at that point out who would probably start for us. 8 players. Had we had them on the pitch, if we'd have had Sars on the pitch, I believe we'd have won that midfield battle, and I believe that we would have probably got the game. And Hannah's giving it a smile because it's an Anthony Sarcevic mention, but it's true. He is superb at what he does, and I've said this before. You never get less than a 7 or 8 out of 10 from Sars. Doesn't matter what game you're playing in, he will run himself into the ground, and that's what we were missing. We were just missing somebody taking that little chance, and that's what he does very, very well.
And the interesting thing about him is that he will do that even when he looks like he's doing nothing. And I remember games where he was getting stick from the stands about being lazy, about not getting into things. And then you look at, like, those metrics from their, whatever they call them, the tag things. And it's like his distance covered is exponentially higher than anyone else's. So to be able to do that, make it look effortless. It looks like it's in slow motion.
He's like slow motion.
The Octa whatever Green
It's
Lantern.
the Kraken. It's like the Kraken was just lowering itself into Fyfie. But Hannah, the thing with Sars is that it can have a poor or quiet first half and then a sensational second one, as you found out. It can just change, can't it? And that's what we miss. We missed someone who can just create that thing out of nothing. And like I say, 8 players out, losing to Burton against a former manager. Burton were very, very good at what they do. It was League Two football. And this is the thing. It was, no offense,
what a transition that is.
Exactly. What a transition. It was League Two football. It was everything that we felt we'd left behind last season. It was the first team to come to us this season and play League Two football, and we hated it. It reminded me of playing Barrow.
Yeah.
I felt like I was back
lumpy,
at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like lump it up and get on. But a quick question, right, about Port Vale's XG that it threw up for me.
Right. Full circle moment.
Yeah.
You did a lovely transition, and now you've gone full circle.
No. I think this is coming in. It's going to be seamless, Fyfie.
Prepare to be disappointed.
Oh.
If Port Vale's XG was a pint, what would it be?
He's splitting the G.
Splitting the... I like it. I'd never thought about that, but yeah. Well, the answer that it's given here is that it's one of those fancy IPAs that costs £8. Says it had notes of mango and pine, and it just tastes like lukewarm washing water. Which I think sums it up. Right. Into League Two. Hannah, if we think, right, that we're looking at like your Luton thing was a bit shit, and last week when we lost against Burton, everyone else also lost in the top 6. The top 3 of League Two just all can drop points this weekend.
Let me bring you up to date, Hannah, on what's going on in League Two, because it is mental.
By the way, we need to be nice about Walsall.
Yes, let's be nice about Walsall.
I might go to. I'm still lusting after the Harrogate Pies. I was really hoping that we were going to get Harrogate in the next round of the Virtue Trophy. Didn't happen. We've got Crewe instead. Yay. So we've got no game this Saturday because we're at Peterborough on Thursday night. Also, yay. Harrogate Walsall on Saturday might be like, can I be asked to drive 2.5 hours to get a pie with black sheep gravy?
Is it 2.5 hours for you?
That's when I put it into Waze last night. It was, maybe there was an accident or something.
There's definitely an accident because it's only half an hour from my house and you're only about 15 minutes.
Well, I'll plan my journey whilst you update me, Fyfie.
You do that. So Fyfie, talk League Two. Come on.
Okay. So as Liam correctly said, the top 3 going into the weekend absolutely stacked it, as they have been doing all season. Whoever is in the top 3 shows absolutely no desire to want to go and put a run together to dominate it in a way that only Warsaw could last year.
Why would you?
Well, exactly. We want to keep it just as interesting as the division above us. It's good practice for when those teams get into division above. So Swindon Town go clear at the top. Ian Holloway's all-conquering Reds went all the way to Fleetwood.
Didn't conquer.
No. Went all the way to Fleetwood. Depending on which Swindon fan you speak to, and believe me, there will be a debate on this later on Fools Rushing, because me and Ben got at it on 606 last night. Shock.
Can't imagine that.
No.
Can I guess?
Go on. Yeah.
You thought it was shit and Ben saw positives.
More or less, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Top of the league.
We're top of the league. So what problem can any Swindon fan have? Well, throwing away the lead and completely forgetting how to play football was just 2 of the issues that I rose. But after taking the lead against Fleetwood, they equalised and then absolutely battered Swindon. The only thing they didn't do was create a clear-cut chance to win the game. Thankfully for that, we took the point, which saw us go top of the league, because Walsall did the complete opposite of what they've done all season. They dominated, to use the word. They absolutely dominated. Walsall, every game this season, and I'm sure, Hannah, you can get me the actual figure, but Walsall have averaged somewhere in the region of about 36% possession this year. They had 67% on Saturday. Managed to lose to Colchester. Colchester were one of the most inconsistent teams in the country.
So Stockport County have a trend of winning when they have less possession. It's
our average is 39% possession when we win, and when we lose, we have 65% on average.
I'm not disputing the fact that this happens, but Walsall do it all the time. Every week we comment on how little possession they have and how effective they are. We've been talking about this a lot, how effective Walsall's game has been this year, having so little possession. But lo and behold, they have lots of possession against Colchester, who are known for having possession themselves, and they lose. It's unfortunate.
One of Walsall's standout stats is their set piece XG is exponentially
their set pieces this year have been outrageous.
Well, Fyfie, hold your fucking buckles, because we are going to blow your socks off very soon.
I look forward to it, but I need to. Hannah's very excited to know about League Two.
Go on.
I am.
This is a League Two. This is League Two related.
It's like you can tell that this is the kind of conversation we have on a random Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah. I've got a great stat, Hannah, and then I get excited about it, and we have
And it was. Well, just before you move on from that game, Fyfie, on Matt Sadler in his post match, he started his thing with, "We weren't us first half, nowhere near it. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys. Losing 2-0 to Colchester, that's the Walsall I know. I know that Walsall. That is the Walsall that I know. But he sort of kind of compliments. It's weird. He compliments compliments Colchester, but he's also kind of maybe slagging himself a little bit because he says they changed things around. They did something they hadn't done before, and I think it caught us on the hop a little bit. But regardless of that, we just didn't work hard enough. Now, for me, that's saying I was completely unprepared for anything other than this. And if someone comes to us and does something different, because like you say, Colchester, they like to have the ball. They like to press with the ball. They have that possession. When they turn up and don't do that, Walsall don't know what to do with the ball. And we're very similar. They don't know what to do with the ball. They're better out of possession than in it.
Yeah. And interestingly, when you look at Walsall's season last season, their stats this season are very much weighted in terms of attacking versus defending. They cannot defend effectively at all. But like all of the, you have those radar maps that show where they're strong, and they are like the bare minimum for all of them. And if you think about what happened last season, they had Nathan Lowe, who was banging goals in left, right, and centre. That kind of offsetted the need to be strong defensively. Nathan Lowe goes back to Stoke at Christmas. Lo and behold, they, did Walsall things.
They've got the great wall of Walsall this year, though, in Aidan Flint. That's all they need.
Do you know what? I know I was in the Swindon end, but that lad, I mean, he is like so, he's like Curtis Till is playing for Bradford in terms of that kind of physicality and aggression. And Walsall are not an aggressive team, like on paper at all. But yeah, I thought he was brilliant for them.
Here's a question for you both then, just about that. So has Danny Cowell, first of all, is that a blip for Walsall, or has
it's
Danny
what League Two has done all year?
But no.
They've been found out.
Yeah, well, has Danny Cowley essentially just laid a blueprint there for what you need to do to beat Walsall? Let them have the ball, let them come at you because they don't know what to do. They've got one plan, and it isn't working if they have the ball. I think that's what's happening. That's the way you just sit back and invite them. Fyfie, I know, obviously, not wanting to really go back to Bradford, but I use us versus you when I sat in the away end with you at Bradford. And I sat with the guys from Fools, and I told them, and I said before kickoff, I said, you will have the ball for the first 20 minutes and you will be so confident because you'll be passing, you'll have space, you'll get all this. I said, from the 20th minute onwards, we'll switch it, we'll play it down the wings. And I pointed out and I said, see that lad there? And it was Tyreek Wright just after he signed. I said, Tyreek Wright will get the ball, and that's where your trouble will start. 23 minutes into the game, we pinged the ball out to the left. Tyreek Wright cut in, smashed it into the bottom corner. And it's like, you can read it. You can read exactly what is going to happen sometimes in games. But if Swindon had come into that game, got the ball, and just lumped it forward to our defence, we wouldn't have known what to do, because we are very, very much in the same as Walsall. When we don't, we're great out of position. We are so well organised. But when a team doesn't come and press us, we kind of just pass that ball back and forth, and there's not really much going forward. Look, we could have 100% of the possession. If all the passes are backwards and sideways, we're not going into the goal. We'll draw 0-0. And that's the problem. And that's what I think Walsall have kind of got there. So little bit of a But if you're a Swindon fan, Fyfie, and you can use this on your Fools game.
I will. I'm taking notes.
So if you're a Swindon fan,
yep,
and you see Walsall 2-0 down, your game is must win.
Mate, you don't have to tell me.
Like, you have to win that game. It is 100% 2 points dropped.
I've sarcastically called our episode tonight, we're top of the league. Hurrah.
Hurrah. Go on then, carry on. Who's the other one in the top three then, Fyfie?
So MK Dons are now in there by virtue of goal difference after their win, because Notts County dropped points at the weekend. They, and I'm led to believe by some of their supporters who tuned in 606, they They were very not themselves in the first half, apparently, and it cost them. They ended up getting a 95th minute penalty to equalise just to claim a point, a penalty which their own fans admit wasn't a penalty, but was due to them after the ref missed 2 howlers that were penalties beforehand. Hashtag League 2 refs.
Doesn't get it's no better in League 1, Fyfie, don't worry.
No, so I'm told.
If anything, somehow it gets worse. It's bizarre. I mean, I don't know if did you see the goal that was scored? Imagine that was the FA Cup, but did you see that? But that was a referee who refereed in the Championship. Did you see the goal we conceded? Hannah, did you see it against Cheltenham?
Oh yeah.
Where the referee blew the whistle as he went to kick it,
and
all the Bradford players stopped, and even the Cheltenham players stopped and all started walking back, thinking it was going to be retaken. But Hutchinson just headed it in, and the ref went, "Yeah, go on, all right, goal."
I'm glad you're over it.
Oh, I'll never be over it. Do you know what? I always said, I said before the game, I'm not really bothered about the FA Cup. I'm not bothered about going on a cup run this season. I want to kind of cement us as a League One team, but it's the way it happened.
So while fully acknowledging that fans up and down the country every week will say we always get shit refs, I try as best as I can, unless they've had an absolute howler, to not really talk about referees. The other week against Tranmere, though, the first half, he didn't. The referee we had didn't get howler after howler decision, but the first half was a complete non-event because he blew the whistle. Like the game had stopped more than it was played in the first half. The whole first half was a complete non-event in that game. There was the highlights were referee blows, Glatzel misses chance, blows, half time. That was pretty much how that first half went.
Like Donald Trump at Bill Clinton's house. So just sorry, I don't know to talk about poor refereeing. So you're talking there about the referee blowing there'd been a non-event other than the referee blowing his whistle. So I
literally wanted the headlines to be about him that day. Oh, well, the reason I was telling you is because of what you guys said. Sorry, just to finish before you make your point. We got told afterwards, someone had looked into it, that was the referee's first game in League 2 for 2 years after spending the last 2 seasons in the Championship. And all the Swindon fans were saying was, well, they must play by different rules when you get up the ladder because this is ridiculous.
As Wrexham are finding out. So just on poor refereeing. So I was at Bradford Park Avenue a couple of weeks ago, and we were doing commentary. And in the first half, the referee played 44 minutes and blew. In the second half, there were 3 goals and 6 substitutions, and he blew the whistle on the 89th minute.
Well, I can do you one better, Liam. I can do you one better. While I was down in Swindon for our 5th anniversary weekend, I went to watch Wazza's lad play for Stratton Juniors under-7s. And as you'll know, at that age group, they play quarters in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I love it.
The third quarter was 17 minutes long, which means somehow he found 7 minutes additional time in a 10-minute quarter.
You don't add on additional time at that level.
He stopped his watch every time the ball went out.
You don't do that at that level. Even if somebody went down for 5 minutes,
they were fuming. They were absolutely fuming.
You still
the parents were fuming. The coaches were fuming.
No, you're not supposed to have them out. You're not supposed to have the kids out on the pitch for longer than 40 minutes. That's the point of it. Regardless of you don't do added time. That's broken. Is that? Yeah.
Well, there were accusations thrown around, just not justifying it, but suggesting why it might be the case. For example, and I'm not suggesting it is the case. I don't know personally, but the referee was the parent of one of the losing team's kids. All of a sudden, they went from 2-0. They went from 2-0 down to 4-2 up. Convenient that, and then the whistle blew. Thankfully, the team I went to watch ended up winning 5-4 in the last quarter. So.
Christ.
Anyway, we digress.
The politics start so young.
But yes, there you go. 7 minutes additional time in a 10-minute quarter, Leah.
That's broken.
You've coached yourself. I'm sure you're delighted by that.
I'd have kicked. Well, to be fair, we don't let parents ref. We don't let parents ref. The coaches ref. That's the rule because the parents clearly they don't know the rules. And you always get that one that's a little bit.
To answer Ian's question in the chat, are Bromley as good as the table suggests? Could we see them in League One? No. It's just no one is consistent enough to put that run together. They are considered something of the surprise package. They are one of those teams that are doing like Bradford are. They're turning the defeats into draws in the sense of they've actually got a 7-6-3 record this year. I don't personally think they sustain their place.
Fyfie, you ready for the stat?
Go on.
Bromley have 23 goals. 17 of them from set pieces.
Does not surprise me in the slightest.
That is an insane stat.
They are the Arsenal of League Two.
That is, well, look at the manager. The Arsenal of League Two, Andy Woodman. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously a 2-1 win at home to Barrow. Mr. Whitfield got on the score sheet. We always love to see that. Again, Barrow's goal came from a free kick. Bless you, Hannah. It goes and yeah, so 73 point. What is it? 73. I've got the full stat here. Where the fucking hell is it? Have I lost it? 73.9% of all Bromley's goals have come from a set piece this season. That's ridiculous. So 1 in 4 goals comes from. 3 in 4 goals. 1 in 4 goals comes from open play. The rest are corners or free kicks that have been converted. But Andy Woodman has said, and it's contrary to what you've just said, Fyfie, I'm not in this league to just try and maybe get into the top 7. I've said from day one, I want to get this club into League One. This year, we can achieve something special.
Well, I mean, it's fair, and I wouldn't expect him to say anything different. The same way I say, I'm not in this life to be sat here talking to you guys single. I want to be dating Rita Ora, but unfortunately she's married and it's not going to happen.
Fyfie, don't give up on your dreams. Don't let anybody ever tell you.
No
matter what those solicitors say, or the restraining order or the courts, you don't listen. You follow your dreams. One person on Twitter has really
one person.
This is one person's tweet. It summed it up. They've said it's a Bromley fan. We are the biggest set piece merchants in football history, and I absolutely love it. Mitch Pinnock's left foot is a cheat code. Who needs open play when you've got corners? Woodman is a genius. Mitch Pinnock has 43 chances created this season. 40 for one player.
Which means Bromley have scored roughly 50% of his chance creations.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
The Declan Rice of League Two.
When you've got a player that can do that, when you've got a player that can pick that spot out, and you've got like a Michael Cheek who can meet them on the end of it. I mean, he's on 8 goals now.
Cheek's been infuriating because not only has he started scoring again, but he's got like some of his goals are unreal.
He's a good player.
But for both of them, and again, like our set, we have a high percentage of goals from set pieces. But I did the EFL Fantasy Scout website stuff for Stockport County before the season started, and they sent me a form to fill in, and it was like left-hand corners, Ollie Norwood, right-hand corners, Ollie Norwood, indirect goal kicks, Ollie Norwood, direct kicks, Ollie Norwood, penalties, Ollie Norwood. And I'd imagine, I don't know, but if Walsall's looked like that, it leaves you. We had a penalty against Luton, didn't score. It's Nathan Lowe, just to bring things back full circle and back to League Two. But if you are heavily dependent on a couple of players, and the transfer window is coming.
I think also is it Evan Weir that plays left back-ish for them. He's the one that scores their free kicks. His technique is unreal.
Well, just on what Andy Woodman said about like the ambition and all that stuff.
I respect the ambition.
Yeah, but when you're so reliant on one tactic, is it sustainable? Like, is it? Because do you know what's going to happen? People are going to start looking at where Pinnock's popping those free kicks and just put 2 men on it.
Well, there's pros and cons, because if you become a master of one, then yes, it might not work every time, but you have that set thing. You look at someone else, and I can speak for Swindon, for example. We technically have 3 different ways of playing. All 3 of those were rubbish on Saturday, and we didn't win.
Yeah. What's happened with Jake Tabor? Can we talk about that? Have they recalled him just out of sympathy because of the 6-7 meme?
So there was a suggestion.
That was part of the compensation.
Yeah.
So there was a suggestion on Ollie's pre-match for Fleetwood. So we knew Drinan was out. Palmer wasn't training because he was ill. We had a number of other attack-minded players missing. So Holloway said himself, I've called him back because I felt he could be needed. Now, thankfully, Palmer got over his illness and was able to play. So Tabor ended up being an unused sub. But he was brought back basically because we were somehow, because of the unavailability elsewhere. For example, we discussed on Friday, is Glatzel going to be the front man, like the main front man this time? But there was every chance he was going to end up playing wing back because we just didn't have any others. So
does that worry you though? Does that worry you that a couple of injuries and then all of a sudden you've got to rely on a
doesn't
player?
Worry me in the slightest. No,
it doesn't worry you that you've got to then potentially rely on a player that your manager clearly does not think is good enough.
No, because we have a player playing ahead of him that isn't good enough. So at some point Holloway will realise this, get over his attitude that I have to be right and I'm going to persevere with this, and realise that there's very little between him and Prince Will, so we might as well play the one that's actually contracted to us and not on loan.
Unless he has to play the loan player if he's
no, he doesn't have to. Prince Will's one of the few that keeps getting dropped out of the squad.
Maybe so. Well,
but yeah. So I mean, I know you're an avid listener back to our League Two coverage representing you, Liam. So you would have heard me say, but I made the point to Ben yesterday. We've been praising Holloway all summer for building a squad. We haven't had this level of squad depth in years, since probably Paulo's era. We can't, as fans, start crying when we have to use the squad.
But what do you consider squad depth though? Is it just making up numbers, or is it
no, not at all? So, for example, we have to. Again, we're going away from what we talk about, but for that question, if you take our attacking options, for example, we realistically play one front man or three, depending on how Hannah wants to describe it tactically. Okay, but we have if everyone's available, we have the choice of Drinan, our top goal scorer, Palmer, who we signed from a championship club, Glatzel, who's in form, Bodin, who's experienced in League One, Prince Will, who's fucking awful, but he keeps getting played anyway, Tabor, who's the non-league prodigy who hasn't been given a go yet. So that's 7 attackers for 3 positions. Last year, we were playing 3 in 3 positions. And I'm sure I'm missing one in there as well somewhere.
I'm sure Ben will tell us.
And now that we've got, so for example, I got to see Ball play for the first time in a Swindon shirt the other day. And by the way, he is massive, absolutely huge. I honestly don't think I've seen a player that built in all dimensions just naturally.
What about Akin Fenway?
Yeah, he never played for us.
He was built like a fridge.
But no, like if you take centre midfield again, for example, depending on how you want to describe it, we play a 2 or a 3 in there, and we've got something like nine options, but they're not just options, they're 9. Like you can make a case for all of them. Like Kilkenny is our best technical player, Clark is our captain, but Ball has his qualities, Nichols has his qualities. You know, you keep going through them, and everyone you put in there. We've got a lad on loan from Bristol City, Murphy, who plays in midfield, who no one really knows that much about because he's not really featured. But he played against Tranmere. Slotted in like he'd been there all season. He was actually fine.
Hannah keeps laughing at how you say Tranmere. She hasn't mentioned it, but I know that's what you're laughing at because you've said it 3 times now, and I've seen a reaction.
Boy, what's wrong with how I say Tranmere?
You split it down into 2 words.
It's like Tranmere.
Well, do you know what? It's funny you should say that, and absolutely fine for pulling me up on it, because I've noticed in recent times that although the accent's there's a softening in how Liam talks, and he's a lot more generic these days. Although earlier there was a very emphasis on Barnsley, which really northerned him up again.
Barnsley. Yeah, Barnsley. It's like you've got to say Bury. You can't say Bury. Who is it that says Salford? That really gets
Mansfield.
me.
It's Harry with Mansfield. Yeah, and to be fair, it doesn't just get him.
I correct people all the time and say no, it's Salford.
The thing is, it doesn't just get us. It gets Salford, because we've had messages saying, "Can you tell him It's Salford. And like, while we're live saying, can you tell him to stop saying Salford? But he just doesn't. Well, speaking of Tranmere, they played Cheltenham this week. And I will just say, I think
what a game.
Yeah, probably out of both leagues, I'd say probably game of the weekend. 3-2.
Gillingham Crawley will be close though. Gillingham Crawley was a great advert for League Two.
Was it though?
Yeah, it was fun.
What? Yeah, no, fun. But was it a great advert when you're kind of looking at it and saying, "Look, Crawley were 1 point above the relegation places versus Gillingham." Going into the weekend, 2 points. 4 points off top. Like that's for me, Gillingham. That's a massive, massive drop for Gillingham. Like that, they shouldn't be losing. Someone said to me, who I work with, he's in like one of those football pool things where they pick a team every single week, and he said to me, "Can you pick a team a guaranteed win for this weekend?" And I said Gillingham. Like look, credit to Crawley.
If
for
anyone
doing
asks you again, guaranteed win. Whoever's playing Bristol Rovers, their collapse is the funniest thing I've seen all season.
Yeah, it's horrific at the minute, isn't it? It's horrific. Well, they've got Cheltenham next.
They have got Cheltenham next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Relegation 6-pointer.
But I think just to come to the Tranmere and Cheltenham game, I think that is a cracking result for Tranmere, given the form that Cheltenham are actually in terms of, I know they've lost a couple, but since Cotterill's come in, he's made them a really, really tough team to beat.
You say Cotterill.
Cotterill, yeah. Cotterill.
We're going to pick everything up.
It's got 3 syllables. Cotterill.
Cotterill. That's 3 syllables. Cotterill.
So what do you call them?
No. Fyfie, you're not wrong. You're saying 2 syllables.
Yeah. Cotterill.
Cotterill.
It's not got.
Anyway, it's not Hakeem
But this is why I think we're saying Princeville and don't try and pronounce his surname.
It's a very, very good result for Tranmere.
Can we stop it?
Because, but here's the thing.
I need to learn how to say it properly, clearly.
It's just Tranmere. It's just like, there's no... What?
Tranmere.
Yeah.
Boom. Perfect. There's no gap.
Say it.
No, there's no gap. It's not Tranmere. There's not a capital M.
No,
it's not like Tran on the Mere.
Yeah.
No, it's Tranmere.
No, it's Tranmere.
I'm saying it the same.
No, you. So you don't read the N and the M kind of blur into one. Tranmere. Whereas you're saying Tranmere. It's like there's a little gap between those 2 letters. Tranmere. It's like if you said, "Oh, we're going up this weekend. We're playing Bradford," or "We're going up to see Stockport." Like it's breaking it down into 2 words. I would probably actually go with
Stockport. I'd probably say Stockport. Whereas Bradford is what Bradford. Yeah, it's just.
See, here's the thing. You just told me off for saying Barnsley. Right, but you just said Bradford. You just said Bradford. Bradfud. Bradford.
Yeah, but that's because we're like all the.
Well, you want me to emphasise Ford?
Well, no, technically, technically it'd be Bradford or Bradford. But Bradford is Bradfud. We always laugh because we say
way off topic, man.
No, but this is the point. It's like it's weird, isn't it? Like that's a northern way to say Bradford.
Well, I'm surrounded by the elite of Northern Company.
And here's the thing.
Fyfie,
what are the first 3 letters of Barnsley?
BAR.
How do you pronounce that?
Barnsley.
Oh, so is it Barnsley? Is it what?
Yeah, Barnsley.
Oh, no. Barnsley?
How many A's have you got in there? Barnsley.
But hang on. You've added an A at the end, the SLAY. You're saying Barnsley.
Barnsley.
No, that's different. You said Barnsley. We're gonna every week. I think every single week we need to start picking up on how people say things because it's funny. But we keep going away and coming back. Steve Cotterill is doing.
Cotterill.
Steve Cotterill is doing. Look, I'll text him and ask him. how he wants it said, because
ask
I'm
for a voice note how he pronounces his name.
Yeah, well, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? Imagine if I get that voice note.
You see, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Fyfie's right.
I am right.
How do you what do you use as the collective word for knives and forks and spoons?
Cutlery. Not cutlery.
Right, what does Liam say?
He definitely says cutlery.
No, I don't. I say cutlery.
Okay.
Which is right. So I don't.
Correct.
No, cutlery.
Yeah, cutlery. We're saying the same word.
Okay, so why is it okay to not emphasize the T in cutlery, but you really need to emphasize it in cutlery? Who did Fyfie? Hang on. Who did Tranmere play?
Cheltenham.
Why aren't you saying the T? Pick a fucking battle.
Yeah, Cheltenham.
Yeah, pick a battle. It's either Cheltenham and
it's
Cotterell.
Not Cheltenham, it's Cheltenham.
Okay, so it's Cotterell. Steve Cotterell.
Yeah, but I'm the one saying Cotterell. No, you're saying it wrong now. You
say Cotterell.
Cotterell.
Yeah, no, don't pronounce the T. The T's fucking a silent word in his name.
Coral. So what's the next game?
Yeah, well, no, it is.
In which case, the F and Y are silent for me. You might as well just call me Fee.
Yeah, I mean, we can if you want to be Fee, but we
I don't want to be Fee, but if we're
just
your
Friday night name.
I like that he's Fyfie 07, and we are branching out and covering all ages, and we've currently got an 18-year-old working with us. And I think that's amazing. Is that the year you were born, Fee? Sorry, Fee?
No, I was born in 90. 7's just my lucky number.
Hannah feels so deflated that you've just said you were born in 90.
Literally a week into 90. I was supposed to be born on Valentine's Day, but I was born on the 7th of Jan.
Bloody hell. Look at that. You learn something new, don't you, Hannah?
But if I was a week even earlier, I would have been an 80s kid.
I was an 80s kid. Were you, Hannah?
Same. Yeah, obviously.
Right, yeah, here we go. Fyfie.
Say Derby.
Derby.
Yeah, no, Derby's
no,
right.
Not Derby. Derby.
Derby. Right.
The E is an A. Derby.
Derby. Yeah, Derby's right. But that, I think, you had Stephen Darby playing for you, didn't you, as well? So it makes.
What is this? Fyfie just read the 92 out and see how many he gets wrong.
That would be hilarious.
We're just bored of League Two already.
We've got rid of it and we're back talking.
Which is more ironic because it's more entertaining than League One, as we established half an hour ago.
Well, so
I've got another show to prepare for at some point.
Yeah, I know. So we'll wrap up after Tranmere versus Cheltenham. What I was saying,
with
Cotterell
in charge.
With Cotterell in charge. What
Shall
I will
we
say
start on Adelican Adelaken as well?
Oh, don't please.
While we're here.
No, we can't. I can't bring him into it. But for me, it's a real show of character for Tranmere. 2-0 up in 11 minutes, get pegged back to 2-2, and then dig in and get that winner. Like a lot of teams, when they go 2-0 up and they throw away, the momentum isn't with them. And when Cheltenham are kind of doing what they're doing under Cotterell, yes, I said it, under Cotterell, it's probably really hard to kind of fight that.
It's just the image of you saying Tranmere getting pegged by Cheltenham.
I can make the image on AI if you want.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it. No one wants it.
Cotterell.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big one. And then a really weird one is Grimsby 0, Chesterfield 1. I think Christy Pym got sent off. There was an own goal for Grimsby.
And it was an own goal, yeah. They did nothing to get the result themselves.
Everything Grimsby could do to make Chesterfield win happened. Yeah, I do. Look, I love Dave Artell. Hannah, I know you're a big fan of Dave Artell. I find a couple of things that he does a little bit confusing. The Jamie Walker situation, and again, I love Jamie Walker. This isn't me being biased in any way, but Jamie Walker scored 2, set 2 up a couple of weeks ago, and then was dropped from the starting 11. He did that previously. He scored those 2 that were both goal of the season contenders, and was dropped for the following game. I get managing minutes and I get adapting your game, but at certain points you've kind of got to give players a run. You've got to give players a run where they're going to have that opportunity to find that form and adapt to any way you want to play. I don't know if, look, Jamie's had injuries in the past. As far as I know, he's fully fit. I don't know whether he's a little bit concerned that when they're coming up against those tough teams, those physical sides, that he maybe needs to not play him, not risk him. But I really, really, really like Jamie Walker, as I think everybody knows. And I think Grimsby fans really, really like Jamie Walker. So what Artel's doing there, when it works, fine. But when you are making these changes and you're dropping these players out that have, shown that they can do it at this level and shown that they can do it at a very, very high quality, if it doesn't work and you end up losing then that's a recipe for disaster. That's where the fans will start going, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm not saying that he doesn't, because I kind of understand what he's doing, but I also think, come on, you've got to at some point give this guy a run. You've really got to give him an opportunity to play some football for you and find his feet at your club with a decent run of games. That's my view on it.
I've got three final points to round off, if that's okay. And two of them linked to each other. We were talking about goals earlier, and there were 2 0-0s in League Two, and they couldn't have been any different if they tried. Cambridge Barnet was the ball fest of the division, as we knew beforehand it was going to be. Absolutely pathetic excuse for a football game. But Oldham Crew also finished 0-0, and this was one where there were over 30 attempts on goal between the two of them. It was NBA style. The only thing they couldn't do was score. It was absolute chaos.
But when you've got Mike Fondop, playing for you, you could have 60, and it's not always going to happen. You either get 60 goals from him or 60 seats broken in the stand.
I will work on my pronunciations ready for the next time you throw in a text message saying, shall we do a live stream? But if I'm going to do that, Liam, if I could just ask for you to pick which accent you're going to use, because while you do sound quite Bradford sometimes, you are going a bit Angry Ginge sometimes as well, which is more Mancunian.
Wow.
There we go.
Fuck you. I have 5 questions to ask you both to end it. Okay.
Is it pronounce these team names?
No, it's not. Would you rather be stuck in a lift with Michael Duff explaining why he should have won 98 times out of 100, or would you rather watch Grant McCann's comedy show defending on a loop for an hour?
Grant McCann.
Grant McCann. A 93rd minute penalty to draw at home, is that champions mentality or just peak jammy?
Jammy.
What's a more unforgivable football crime? Wearing a full kit, including shin pads, to the game as an adult, or leaving in the 80th minute to beat traffic?
Leaving. Never leave a game early.
No, the kit. I never leave early, but the kit. I mean, that's like stag do dare level.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying leaving's early, because if you're going full kit, including shin pads, there's a reason.
Be honest, if you were managing Bromley, would you even bother training from open play?
Yes, because we'd have to improve.
And you have to replace one League Two mascot for the day or League One mascot for the day. Who are you picking, and what's your signature crowd hyping move?
So I'm playing the part of the mascot?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Which mascot for which club, and what would it can't be your own, and what would be your signature hyping move be?
Do you know what? I would take the place of the bunny at Peterborough. And that carrot would be getting thrown into the crowd, trying to get people throwing it around like it's an inflatable.
We played Peterborough on Good Friday. So the East, like Peterborough have got like 3 different mascots, which also really confused me, because they've got like a builder one as well, because I don't know. But yeah, there was a whole lot of you can stick your carrot up your arse type.
I'd be mimicking it just for lols.
Yeah.
Like, no, I can't look.
Who would I?
I got done for calling Mighty Mariner a paedophile.
Is this after you got attacked by a Grimsby fan?
No, it was before. It was during the game. All Bradford fans were going, pedo, and I would just stood right next to him, just going like that in his face. And then someone tweeted going, should Billy Bantam really be calling Mighty Mariner a pedo? And I'm like, well, he didn't really touch any kids. Like, it's a joke.
I'd like
don't forget, we live in a generation where Mr. Tumble failed his CRB check.
He lives not far from us, by the way. He's. I could tell you some stories about Mr. Tumble.
Please don't. I'd like to be the pie at Wigan, like the big pie.
What would your move be, Hannah?
I don't know. I feel like movement's probably limited as a pie.
No, you definitely do like a little old school spin, like breakdown spin.
Yeah, like lie on the. You could right. Yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd like flop backwards, and yes, I am wearing my pajamas. I'd flop backwards and like turn around like with my feet like.
I'd pay someone to come in as Jim from American Pie and make you just lay down on the floor and just recreate that scene. That's my view. A question that's been asked: a question for the three of you: would Stockport win the SPL? So here's the thing: I think
no, top four.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I think the top three. So not the top three, but the three teams:
typical top
Hearts, Celtic, Rangers are a championship level outfit. All of them. The rest of them is mid-table League One. And as much as I love the likes of Elliot Watt, he's thriving in the SPL, but he was struggling last season in League One. And that's not really like Elliot Watt can go on and go, it could go on and could go further and further. And that's fine. But to go from where he was in League One last season to where he is now in that time for him shows the real difference.
The fact that we're thinking the same, Liam, given that we don't have skin in the game, so to speak, it does also mean that Stockport qualify for Europe.
I've got no issue with that.
Imagine a cold European night at Edgeley Park, at the Edgeley Park.
At the Edgeley Park, yeah. I think. I mean, obviously, it was designed to be a provocative comment. That's what platforms like that do.
That's what Jamie O'Hara does.
And that said, I am really enjoying the fact that then someone completely unrelated tweeted the England group table and said Stockport County would win that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really enjoying that that's a thing now.
Well, before we leave, I've got three more questions for you, and then we're done. Which is a bigger sign that your club's in crisis? The manager praising resilience after a 0-0 at home, or the local paper's headline simply reading woeful?
The paper.
I can't imagine either happening, quite honestly, because we're so happy clappy and
You give them 50 million to spend, but you can only buy players based on their Port Vale XG status, or players that have only ever scored from set pieces. Which squad are you building?
Oh,
do you want a team full of high XG players, or teams that always score from set pieces?
So that's your Lauren Tolage, isn't it? Really?
He's very, very high. Team. He's very, very high on XG. Is Tolaj? It's Tolaj, Anna. Apparently, it's not Tolaj, and I always call him Tolaj.
Tola.
Tolaj.
Oh, all right.
I'll take the set piece team.
I'm a sucker for a set piece.
It's working for Bromley.
I'm a sucker for a set piece.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I'll go, given our current issues with set piece takers, I'll go for whatever the other one was.
Plus, anything to not have to watch Will Wright take another set piece would be fantastic.
Last question. What's the real cutoff point for a long throw to be considered a foul? Is it 2 feet on the floor, or is it just as long as it lands in the box? I don't understand that question.
What? For it not to be considered a what?
For it to be considered a foul throw.
Well, you have to have 2 feet on the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to ask it for one more question because that makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
I am a big fan that the long throws come back into fashion. Though.
Yeah, and I was saying on the pod last night, I've started noticing where we don't really have a long throw.
We have Will Wright.
But I notice then when other teams do. Plymouth have got a good one. We had someone, I can't remember who it was, maybe it was Corey O'Keefe or Dodgson had a bit of a go, and I was like, oh yeah, fair enough, but no.
Well, I asked it for another because that one just didn't make any sense whatsoever.
So your Google Gemini's not all that, is it, Liam? No?
No, it did. Yeah, ChatGPT would have just fucking cried. I'd still be waiting for the answers. Okay. Here we go. And again, I've not read this, but Hannah,
on the
you'll
Tesla,
like this.
there's bad grok. You can get like a really bad version of grok that tells you awful things.
And that's just Hannah plugging that she drives a Tesla, by the way. That's all that is. Right.
He's flexing periodically throughout the episode.
You're standing next to the club's biggest all the gear, no idea fan. He's got the full kit, the 200-pound training top, the works. He turns to you at halftime, his breath absolutely stinking of pickled onion monster munch. And he says, the gaffer's got the tactics all wrong, hasn't he? Do you agree with him just to be polite, or do you tell him his breath smells like a bin?
Where is the third option? Tell him that he's wrong and explain why he's wrong.
Well, that comes in with the smell. Yeah, and by the way, your breath smells like a bin.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I would tell him it's wrong.
I don't think I would naturally call someone out for their breath at a game.
No.
He's wearing a full kit though, Fyfie.
I would argue that if I didn't agree that the manager had tactically got it wrong, I would argue with them about it.
Yeah.
Right. Fyfie, this one's just for you, and then we will wrap. Okay. Because Hannah, if you can answer this one, Hannah, we need to talk after this episode ends.
Oh no.
You're in the stadium toilets at halftime. It's absolutely rammed. You're at the urinal minding your own business when the bloke next to you leans over, looks you dead in the eye, and says, "We're just not winning the second balls, are we?" Do you A, reply, B, ignore him, or C, piss on his shoes by accident?
Reply.
What?
Reply. People are constantly making conversation with me in the toilets. I'm always talking back to them.
Said that with the confidence of a man that this has happened to him multiple times.
I mean, I was that. I was one of the 7 people total that went to the Virtue Trophy game at MK Dons last week. And when I say 7 people total, I don't mean Swindon. I mean total. Again, I don't know what the official attendance was. Genuinely, credit to the Swindon fans that turned up. MK Dons, pathetic. I know they were out, but like we outnumbered them, and I think we only had about 198 people there. Honestly, I got a video. I'll send you the video. Actually, I did a circle of the whole stadium, and you just see nothing but empty seats, a little thing of people, and then the Swindon fans behind me.
Wow.
But
so
yeah,
you talk to him, piss it.
Yeah, if someone starts talking to me in the toilet, like in the urinal, like if I'm in a stall, I'm ignoring them because like.
Okay, so let's. If you're in a stall and he pops his head over the top,
I'm like, fuck off, man.
Or underneath.
Underneath, yeah.
In the public thing, if someone's talking to me, yeah, I'll talk back.
No, that's fucking weird. But Ian's just nailed it. That sounds like a Swindon thing. It absolutely does. And it's not the worst thing that goes on in the toilets at Swindon.
Isn't it? They used to be filmed in the toilet. Yeah. So having a chat, that's nothing.
That's where I put tactics for fucking...
Like say someone was chatting to me at MK Dons the other day while I was in the toilet. So I was just like, yeah, well, I said, we've got the... I said, we've done the bit now. We're going to qualify. So we just need to score at least 4 to win the group.
Well, just to end it, Ben replied saying if Port Vale was a pint, it would be Carling, cheap and nasty. And then Nodge replied saying Swindon would be Caffrey's, weak as piss and no one's seen it since the 90s. Boom. I love it. I love it. That is how you... And that, by the way, is, I believe, a Port Vale fan replying. Yes, it is. It's a Vale fan replying to Ben. Now, if that doesn't take Ben down a peg or 2 for Fools, that is beautiful.
Ben's not on Fools tonight, sadly. He's supposed to be at work.
He's got some explaining to do.
I will have hijacked his Twitter, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that, guys.
I've got 28 minutes to get something to eat and set up Fools.
You go get yourself something to eat and get set up, guys. Thank you very much. We'll continue this. We have got a couple of big interviews lined up. We are not going to announce them because it's fucking funny not to, and they are both massive, really, really big. So let's do it.
Fyfie massive.
Like Fyfie massive. Fyfie pissing at a urinal massive. See you next week, guys.
While talking to someone.
Yeah, I think he should probably bring on Jake Tabor, yeah.
The lower legal look, the place it's all at.